Well, good morning. Nick Collier here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful March California day. I don't even think there's one cloud in the sky, and it's about I don't know, eight o'clock in the morning or so. And yesterday I started on. I don't know if you own one of these pieces of junk. And you got it for a really good price. Like Harbor Freight had them for a while for $179. And I was like, I didn't buy it at Harbor Freight. I waited another year and then they were $379. But still, it's out of balance. It's got, I can't tell you how many issues it's got. And if you do own one of these and you're having trouble with it, go to Keith Fenner's website, or not website, the YouTube page. And he's got a whole half an hour on taking one of these apart and fixing it and getting it all back in running condition. He did a great job with that. And I'm going to take it to the next step because there was one more little part that just bugged the hell out of me. Because, they want you to have this nice table that you can put your tool on. And then they gave you a little protractor here that really, it looked good. It looked like it could work just fine. We're going to bring you in a little closer and then check it out. So anyhow, they gave me this little protractor here, and it looked pretty cool. I thought, well, I've got this angle. Now I've got this angle, so I could really do compound angles here and come up with something cool. The problem is that they only cut it to 45 degrees, which is, normally that's not a problem. You go to 45 degrees, and I lost the wing nut, and some stupid little wing nut that goes down in here that you can barely get to. So I lost the wing nut right away. But the problem is when you put a bit in here, it's fine if you have a big long bit like this, and you want to sharpen it, because it'll reach. But you get a smaller bit in here, and it's not easy to get it all the way over to the stone. And the other thing was it was 45 degrees. So what I did is I'm going to show you, and I did this. I thought, oh, well, just do it, quick half hour. We'll get it over with. And, I didn't film it. And, a couple hours later, I'm still working on it. And I still have probably a couple more hours this morning. But I'm going to show you what I did. I took the wing nut out, and I noticed that there was a little pivot pin right in the center there. So I thought, well, what if we just put it on my rotary table and continue cutting that hole? And you can see where I took a mill bit and took it. Actually, that's where it ended right there. And I took it another, a half an inch on either side, which gives me a full 60 degrees. Let's see if we can get that back in there. So that'll take me right to there. Now, the problem is, of course, is now I can't reach the grinding head at all. So we're going to remedy that situation, but we're going to talk about how I came in and trimmed out that part in there first. So let's go over to the mill and I'll show you. So I didn't want to drag out my rotary table and put it on here. It takes about 20 minutes to set the thing up. It's a 12-inch rotary table, and for this little dinky piece of material here, it was like, what is the point? So I thought, well, wait a second, my vise spins. So why not use the spin of the vise to create that? So all I have to do is find center someplace, wherever center is in the vise, and let's tighten that up a little bit. And once I find center, then I can just go from there and cut my piece. Well, I opened up the vise, and lo and behold, I'm going to take all of this stuff out because that's what's gonna happen, not what already happened. Lo and behold, as I opened the vise, and I'm opening it with my fingers because the camera is in the way of the crank. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, right there is a center hole. So let's spin this around so you can actually see it a little bit better. like that. And I went, oh, so that's my pivot. Well, hey, I've got this little center pivot in there. Why not just build a little plug to drop into the hole and drop my, yeah, and that was always difficult, and drop my piece in there, and there's my pivot. And then basically what I did is I put a little dinky bit in and just held it by hand and just kind of worked into it. I know, a little bit dangerous, but you know, I was holding on tight and everything was fine. So then I just kind of worked my way into that corner and then came over and worked my way into that corner, and we've got that nice extended radius. And then I went, well, okay, now that I got that in there, how do I get it out? Well, okay, a magnet's fine. So we did that. All right, so now we've got the pivot is set up so that I can go almost probably 75 degrees there and on either side, which is great. But the problem is that we've got this wing nut that went in there, and it was like, okay, if I went over to here, I couldn't tighten the wing nut, so I was going to have to build myself a nut. So I went over to the little lathe, I got myself a piece of 1/2-inch stock, and I just built this little extended nut and knurled one edge, and that sucker is nice and tight, and it's up out of the way, and it's not in it. Now the problem was, remember, we couldn't if we, can you see it from there? Let's move you over just a little bit. If we take this all the way over to 75 degrees, let's say, then anything other than a giant bit like that is not going to be able to reach the grinding head. So what I decided to do was to make an extension. So I cut a piece of material off of some aluminum I had, and I'm going to put it right there, and then I'm going to drill 2 holes in here, one as just a guide, and the other I'm going to build another nut like this one to go in that direction. And then this will have 2 slides so that this can slide back and forth, and I can adjust right out to the edge, right up to the stone. So that's what we're going to do today, is to make those 2 slides. And hey, hang in there with me. We're going to have some fun. Okay, so we've centered our 2 holes. Well, we haven't made the holes yet, but our points to make the holes. We've set up our center this way, and basically I'm just going to go straight in, and then I'm going to go that way until the bar reaches level with the outside edge of this protractor. So we're going to crank her up. Take it down. Okay. So we've got our 2 slots cut, and it looks like I want to cut this one just a little bit longer because that one is a tad longer too. So let's just go back and recut that. Okay, so we've got a little machine screw here, and as you can see, it's too wide for our slot, but that's exactly what we want. So we're going to drop this down, and let's see, actually, you know what, let's do it all the same direction. Uh-oh, we're going to hit. We're going to move you back a little bit, adjust it. There we go. All right, our screw fits perfectly. It will slide back and forth nice and easily. That should do the trick. All right, now we're going to bring this back to 0 or to center, and we'll go between 28 and 0, which would take us 14. 14 puts us dead center. And I need to come in and make a slot so that this thing can not only sit there, but it's buried below the top surface. Now drop this down. And I'm thinking we could just go straight across the whole thing. Why not? Okay, so we're going to duplicate this this little thumb nut right here, and shouldn't be too much of a problem. Let's get it started. Oops, let's kick it in gear. All right, now we'll come in and face this this end off, and we're going to counter drill it or center drill it, and then come in and drill out a pilot for threading. So we'll do this first. That looks pretty good. Yep. Center drill. All of the standard procedures. All right, so we've tapped our hole. We've faced off this outside edge. We've rounded it with a little bit just to kind of smooth everything up. And now I want to talk about my lathe a little bit. This old South Bend's been here for a long time. It was actually made 1 month before I was born. Or I'm sorry, 1 month after I was born. I was born in March of 1948. Well, let's put it this way. When I bought it, it came with a taper attachment. It may have been put on later. And we're going to use that taper attachment today just to kind of create just a slight taper in our shaft here. And the way we do that is I take a little crescent wrench and tighten up the bolt that attaches the taper attachment to the bed of the lathe. And then, can you see back there? Let's see if we can get you in a better place. And if you see, when it rolls up and down, it actually follows this bed rather than this bed. And so we'll get a bit of a taper going. So I'll show you as we go in. You can see it's not touching there, and it'll start touching any second. Well, one would think it'd start touching any second. Let's try it this way. Well, come on. Okay, barely touching. Oh, I know. I got to tighten that. There we go. Now that we've got a good bite going, I'm going to have to back it up and bring it over here. There we go. All right, that's better. And basically you just run the knurl up against the shoulder, or the piece of material, till it starts rolling. A little bit of oil. Ah! Yeah, well, not that way. Pretty good. All right, so now I'm just going to take this out and put it in the saw and saw that end off. All right, let's put it back in the lathe. We'll just kind of grab the knurl just a little bit and put our cutting tool back in. And we're right in there. We're going to just pull a taper off of that. Bring it out just a little bit more. Kiss it with a file, just so we don't have any sharp edges. Let's see what that inner edge feels like. Yeah, it's pretty sharp too. So we'll just we'll let it flop around and just hit it just a little bit. Yeah, much better. All right, and we got ourselves another nut, or a thumb nut. And there's two. One of them is metric and the other one is American. Okay, so we've got our shoulder bolt or nut, or screw, and slide that in. Get it to bottom out. I think it only goes bottoms out in one direction. There we go. That's down below the level of the piece itself. Oh, look at that. I think we need to file this back just a little bit more. Just a little hand file work. All right, now it's sitting on there, on that, in that slot. That's right where we want it. Okay, so this goes over here. This goes there. That's there. We may have to take a little bit more of this off. I think this is our American one. Nope, maybe not. Nope. There it is. Okay. Snug that down. Everything is locked in nice and snug. It's not going anywhere. That's perfect. This goes on top of this. That little hole goes in the pin. There's that part. Now what we need to do is put it on the grinder itself and figure out where our edge is and grind that edge off at whatever angle we need. So let's go over to the grinder. Okay, as far as I can tell, if we're cutting this thing at let's say 20 degrees, which is probably the least I would cut it, that is our point of contact. And if we bring it on right on over to 70 degrees or 60 something degrees and extend our piece out here, we're still in pretty good contact. I mean, I would never go that sharp, I don't think. But something in between that, probably somewhere in this general area, more like 50 or 60 degrees. So I think we want to cut this one off at this angle, and then we'll come in on the other side and do the other one. Okay, there we go. We're set to go. Now we can get an accurate measurement. I still have to, I'm going to set my degrees here, but we'll be able to shift the wheel, and then also as we get more and more angle going, we bring this back to about there, I'd say. That's about as far back as we can go, at least at this point. I may have to make adjustments later. I might want to bring this back a little bit further. But as we get more and more angle, then our piece can butt up to the inside edge of that of the grinder. All right, so let's take it over to the other side and see what we come up with. All right, now this is the diamond wheel side, and we can we've got the ability to we caught that just a little bit. Bring it back just a tad. We can set up our degrees this way, or bring it back around and set up our degrees this way, and bring this up to the edge, or up to the face. So that's good. We're I think we've got at least the beginnings of this. Now, once I use it a little bit and try to figure out what the heck's going on, I'll be able to make adjustments and that sort of thing. This has been a fun little project. It only took all morning and part of yesterday, but once you build something like this, it's here forever. For the moment, I'm happy. Let's turn it on and see how it goes. Nice. It's got just a little bit of out of balance problems, and I may actually do something about that. What I did this last time was it was pretty well out of balance on that other side, so I just took out a bolt. And I've got 3 bolts on that other side, and it pretty well balanced it out. Now what I may end up doing is either adding some piece of a bolt back in, or if it's too heavy or too light, or taking some other material out if it's too heavy. Hey, this is Nick Collier. We've completed this little protractor project. It took us 4 or 5 hours, a couple hours yesterday afternoon and a couple hours today. The thing is about these kinds of things, either you fight them for years to come because you never actually went in and fixed it, or you fix it and for years to come the thing really does a good job for you. And I like the latter. So it was worth the 4 or 5 hours of messing around with this and kind of bringing it into something that actually was going to work. And hey, subscribe. We have fun here. I do mostly, I got 180 videos, and most of them are about machine work and building some object or another for somebody or myself, like today. Once in a while other things, but mostly this. And tell your friends about me. Bring them in. Show them a video. Link a video to them or something. Hey, this is Nick Collier checking out.